Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to explore the world of quality.
Well, this time, we're getting back to basics. Those foundational concepts of quality that we often take for granted.
The building blocks, you could say.
Exactly. We're diving into Chapter 1 of the ASQ Certified Quality Improvement Associate Handbook, which is like a quality boot camp in a book.
A refresher course on all the essential terms and ideas.
Right. And I'll admit, going back to the basics, I realize there's more to quality than I initially thought.
That's the beauty of quality. It's a multifaceted concept. It's constantly evolving and adapting.
That's what struck me as I was reading through the chapter. There are so many ways to define quality, exceeding customer expectations.
Outperforming the competition.
Even that classic, I know it when I see it, idea. It's fascinating, but a bit overwhelming. How do we even begin to navigate all these different perspectives?
It's important to remember that quality can wear many hats. It's not just about the end product. It's about the characteristics, the drivers, the processes.
Okay, unpack that a bit for me. What do you mean by characteristics, drivers, and processes?
Think of it like this. The characteristics are things like reliability, how well a product performs its intended function over time, and maintainability, the ease with which it can be kept in good working order.
Okay, so those are qualities inherent to the product or service itself.
Exactly. Then you have the drivers, things like industry standards and customer expectations, which shape how we define quality.
So external forces that influence our perception of quality.
Right. And finally, you have the processes, planning, control, and improvement, the actions we take to manage and achieve quality.
Got it. So quality is a product of all these interacting elements.
Yeah.
And this brings us to that little q versus big Q distinction the handbook mentions.
Ah, yes, the two sides of the quality coin.
I'm ready to flip that coin. What's the difference between little q and big Q?
Think of it this way. Little q is all about the immediate, the tangible aspects of quality. It's ensuring a specific product or service meets a defined standard.
Okay, so it's focused on the product or service itself.
Precisely. Big Q, on the other hand, takes a broader view. It's about fostering a culture of quality that permeates the entire organization.
So it's about embedding quality into the very DNA of the company.
Exactly. And a crucial tool for achieving that is a quality plan. It's the blueprint for success.
Right, the handbook emphasizes that. But to be honest, I'm a bit fuzzy on what a quality plan actually looks like in practice. It's more than just a mission statement, right?
Absolutely. A quality plan is a roadmap that outlines precisely what quality means for a specific product or service.
So it's about setting concrete objectives and figuring out how to get there.
Exactly. You define performance indicators, establish clear goals, and commit the resources needed to make it all happen.
So it's about turning those big Q aspirations into actionable steps.
Precisely. And within that plan, you'll find the interplay of quality assurance, quality control, and continuous quality improvement, what I like to call the quality trifecta.
Right, those three concepts were mentioned earlier. I'm ready to move beyond the definitions and see how they work together.
Well, let's use a simple analogy, building a house.
Okay, I'm following.
Quality assurance is like the architect meticulously designing the structure to be safe and sound.
Choosing the right materials, ensuring a solid foundation, and creating blueprints that minimize the risk of errors during construction.
Exactly. Building quality in from the start.
Okay, that's prevention and action. But even with the best laid plans, things can still go wrong. What happens when cracks appear?
That's where quality control comes in. Think of it like the building inspector who checks for code violations during construction.
They're looking for anything that doesn't meet the standard, right?
Precisely. They catch those issues before they become major problems.
So quality control is about identifying and correcting those issues before they reach the customer.
Exactly. But we don't just want to react to problems. We want to continuously improve.
Right. That's where continuous quality improvement, or CQI, comes in.
Right. It's like the homeowner who's always looking for ways to upgrade their house, maybe add insulation for energy efficiency or do some landscaping to improve curb appeal.
So always striving for better.
Exactly. CQI involves analyzing data, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing changes to enhance overall quality.
So CQI is that ongoing commitment to getting better, to always exceeding expectations.
Precisely. And that commitment is deeply intertwined with a company's culture and the people who drive it.
That's what I find fascinating, the human element of quality. The handbook emphasizes how company culture can make or break quality initiatives. What are the key ingredients of a successful quality culture?
Think of organizational culture as the soil in which the quality seeds are planted.
Okay, I like that analogy.
A strong quality culture starts with leadership. Leaders need to champion quality, not just talk about it.
So walking the talk.
Exactly. They need to allocate resources, provide training, and recognize those who prioritize quality.
Making quality a core value, not just a slogan.
Precisely. And that message has to resonate throughout the organization. Employees need to feel empowered to identify and solve problems.
Fostering a sense of collective responsibility for quality.
Exactly. And that brings us to the importance of viewing the organization as an interconnected system, recognizing that every process, department, and individual contributes to overall quality.
It's like a well-oiled machine where everyone works in harmony to achieve a common goal.
That's the essence of a systems view of quality, which the handbook highlights.
It's not just about individual processes, it's about understanding how they all fit together.
Right. Now, to truly grasp how quality management evolved into what it is today, we need to delve into the contributions of some influential figures, the quality gurus.
Okay, I'm ready to meet these quality pioneers.
Let's start with Walter Schuhart, a true trailblazer.
He was way back in the 1920s, right?
Yeah.
What made his work so groundbreaking?
Schuhart was a physicist and engineer, and he had this revolutionary idea that variation is inherent in every process.
So accepting that there will always be some degree of variability.
Exactly. He argued that understanding and controlling this variation was the key to achieving consistent quality.
Rather than striving for absolute uniformity, which is probably impossible anyway.
Right. He developed statistical tools like control charts to track process variation and identify when things were going off course.
So a data-driven approach to quality control.
Precisely. And his work had a profound impact on another giant in the field, W. Edwards Deming.
Ah, Deming. He was instrumental in Japan's post-war industrial resurgence, wasn't he?
Yes. He took Schuhart's ideas and developed his own comprehensive approach to quality management.
What were the key principles of Deming's approach?
Deming believed quality wasn't just about tools and techniques, it was a management philosophy. He emphasized leadership, employee empowerment, and that relentless pursuit of continuous improvement.
So that big Q perspective we discussed earlier.
Absolutely. He coined the term profound knowledge to describe the interconnectedness of systems thinking, variation, theory, and psychology. He argued that leaders needed to understand all of these elements.
It sounds like he was way ahead of his time. Who else should we add to our quality guru lineup?
Joseph Juran is another one. He also championed a management-centric view of quality.
Another advocate for big Q.
Exactly. He believed that most quality issues stemmed from management practices rather than worker errors.
So it's about setting up the right systems and processes.
Exactly. He developed the Juran trilogy, which focused on quality planning, control, and improvement. He stressed the importance of fitness for use.
Meaning that quality should be judged by how well a product or service meets customer needs.
Precisely. Now, ready for a guru who emphasized the human side of quality.
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
Next up is Kaoru Ishikawa, a Japanese quality expert who believed that everyone at every level of the organization could contribute to quality improvement.
I love that philosophy. So how did he translate that belief into action?
He developed tools to foster collaboration and problem solving, like the famous fishbone diagram.
The fishbone diagram, also called the cause and effect diagram. I've seen those before.
It's a visual tool that helps teams brainstorm potential causes of a problem, leading to solutions.
Okay, who's next on our quality all-star team?
Philip Crosby is another important figure. He's known for his bold, zero defects philosophy.
Zero defects. That sounds ambitious. What was his reasoning behind that goal?
Crosby was adamant that defects were preventable. He argued that striving for anything less than perfection was setting the bar too low.
So shifting the mindset from accepting defects to actively preventing them.
Exactly. He believed the cost of preventing defects was far less than dealing with them later.
It makes sense. Okay, who's our final quality guru for today?
Our last guru for this part of the dive is Armand Feigenbaum, another American quality expert. He emphasized a holistic, systems-based approach to quality.
So a very big Q perspective.
Exactly. He believed that quality wasn't the sole responsibility of a specific department, but a company-wide endeavor.
A collective effort.
Right. He actually coined the term total quality control and advocated for strong leadership, modern quality technology, and a total organizational commitment to achieve it. His work laid the foundation for the total quality management TQM movement.
Wow, what a lineup. It's amazing to see how these pioneers shaped the way we think about quality today.
And we've only just scratched the
I'm
surface.
already feeling inspired to delve deeper into the world of quality.
That's the spirit. All
Okay,
right, ready to roll up our sleeves and get into the nuts and bolts of quality systems.
let's do it. I'm ready to go beyond theory and see how these concepts play out in the real world.
Excellent. Remember our quality trifecta: quality assurance, quality control, and continuous quality improvement.
Oh yeah, the three musketeers of quality.
Precisely. Let's imagine we're a company that manufactures medical devices, say heart valves.
Okay, high stakes.
Hmm.
Quality is absolutely critical in that industry.
Absolutely. So we're making this new heart valve. Where does quality assurance come into play?
Well, I'd imagine even before you start production, right? During the design phase.
Exactly. We need to establish rigorous design controls, ensuring the heart valve meets all the necessary regulatory requirements.
Making sure it's safe and effective for patients.
Precisely. We'd also carefully select high-quality materials from approved suppliers.
So even the raw materials are vetted for quality. What about the actual manufacturing process?
Right. We'd implement stringent manufacturing processes, documenting every step and controlling every variable to minimize the risk of
It
defects.
sounds like a very meticulous and controlled environment.
It has to be, given the life-saving nature of the product.
That makes sense. So quality assurance has laid the groundwork for a high-quality heart valve. What happens next?
Now, quality control steps in during the actual production process.
Okay, so this is where you catch those inevitable defects that might have slipped through the cracks.
Exactly. We might have inspectors visually examining each component at various stages of production.
Looking for any visible flaws or deviations from the standard.
Right. We'd also conduct specialized tests.
Simulating real-world conditions to make sure the heart valve functions as intended.
Precisely. And of course, we'd be collecting data throughout the entire process.
Using statistical process control, or SPC, to monitor those key parameters.
Exactly. So we've got quality assurance, building quality into the system, and quality control monitoring and maintaining it along the way. But that's not the end of the story, is it?
Right. We can't forget about continuous quality improvement. Where does CQI fit into this heart valve scenario?
CQIA is all about analyzing the data collected from both QA and QC, looking for trends, patterns, and areas for improvement.
So actively looking for ways to make the heart valve even better.
Precisely. For example, we might find that a particular component is failing more often than expected.
Okay, so you've identified a potential issue. What then?
We dig deeper to understand why that component is failing. Maybe there's an issue with the material or a flaw in the manufacturing process.
And once you've identified the root cause, you can implement changes to prevent those failures from happening again.
Exactly. And this cycle of analysis, improvement, and monitoring continues indefinitely.
It's that never-ending quest for better quality.
That's the essence of CQI. Now, many organizations turn to established quality management system models for guidance.
Right, like frameworks or blueprints for building robust quality systems. What are some of the most popular ones?
Two big names are the Baldrige Performance Excellence Program criteria and the ISO family of quality management system standards.
I've definitely heard of those, but could you break down the key differences?
Well, the Baldrige criteria is a national program that recognizes organizations for their commitment to quality and performance excellence.
So like an award program for quality all-stars, what does it take to win a Baldrige Award?
It's a pretty rigorous evaluation process. Organizations are assessed across a broad range of criteria, from leadership and strategic planning to customer focus, workforce engagement, operations, and results.
Wow, it's a comprehensive assessment of organizational excellence.
It is. The ISO family of standards, developed by the International Organization for Standardization, takes a more prescriptive approach.
Okay, how so?
The most well-known standard in the family, ISO 9001, outlines specific requirements for a quality management system.
So it's more like a checklist of things you need to have in place to be certified.
You could say that. So whether an organization pursues Baldrige or ISO certification, the goal is the same: a system that supports and enhances quality.
Makes sense. Now, we've talked a lot about systems and processes, but we can't forget about the people. How does organizational culture and employee involvement impact quality?
The human element. It's crucial. Remember, a quality system is only as good as the people who implement it.
You can have the most well-designed processes in the world, but if your employees aren't on board, it's all for naught.
Exactly. So how do we create a culture where quality is truly valued and embraced by everyone?
That's the million-dollar question.
It all starts at the top with leadership.
Leaders set the tone.
Right. They need to be visible champions for quality. It's not just about talking the talk, it's about walking the walk.
So, leading by example.
Exactly. Allocating resources, providing training, recognizing achievements, these actions demonstrate a true commitment to quality.
Making quality a priority, not an afterthought.
Precisely. And it's about creating an environment where employees feel comfortable speaking up about quality issues.
So open communication is key. You don't want people sweeping problems under the rug.
Absolutely. Encouraging that open dialogue is essential. So leadership sets the stage, but how do we get employees actively involved?
How do you get everyone on board the quality train?
One effective way is to involve employees in quality improvement teams.
Ah, yes, those cross-functional teams where people from different departments work together on specific quality projects.
Exactly. It taps into the collective knowledge and experience of the workforce.
And gives employees a sense of ownership and responsibility for quality.
Precisely. Another approach is implementing suggestion systems.
Oh yeah, those are great. It allows anyone to submit ideas for improvement, no matter how small.
Right. It shows that you value their input, that everyone has the potential to contribute to making things better.
And sometimes those small ideas lead to big breakthroughs. But let's be real, even with strong leadership and engaged employees, there are bound to be challenges when implementing quality systems.
There always are.
What are some of the biggest roadblocks organizations face?
One of the most common is resistance to change.
People can be creatures of habit.
Exactly. Getting comfortable with the way things are is easy, even if it's not the most efficient or effective way.
So how do you overcome that resistance?
Clear communication is key. You need to clearly articulate the benefits of change and get employees involved in the process.
So they feel like they're part of the solution, not just being told what to do.
Exactly. Another challenge is the lack of resources. Time, money, people.
Ah, yes, the perennial problem.
Right. It's crucial to demonstrate the return on investment, showing how quality improvements will ultimately benefit the bottom line.
So making a strong business case for quality.
Exactly. And then there's the challenge of data, or rather, the lack of it, or the misuse of it.
You can't manage what you don't measure.
Right, precisely. But even if you have data, it's useless if you don't know how to interpret it or use it to make informed decisions.
Data literacy is crucial for anyone involved in quality management.
Absolutely. Now, despite these challenges, there's no denying the power of a well-implemented quality system.
Agreed. When done right, it can have a significant positive impact. But let's get specific. What are some of the tangible benefits?
Well, first and foremost, improved customer satisfaction.
That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Happy customers are loyal customers.
Exactly. Loyal customers lead to repeat business, which is good for everyone.
Definitely a big win.
Yeah.
What other benefits can we expect?
Increased efficiency and productivity are also major benefits.
Okay, I'm interested. Tell me more about that.
By streamlining processes and eliminating waste, organizations can free up resources and get more done in less time.
So it's not just about quality. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Precisely. And often, increased efficiency translates into lower costs.
So a win-win situation. We've got happier customers, a more productive workforce, and a healthier bottom line. Anything else?
We can't forget about the impact on employees. Quality systems, when implemented effectively, can boost employee morale and engagement.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
When employees are empowered to contribute to quality, to see their efforts make a difference, they feel more valued and motivated.
It creates a sense of purpose and pride in their work.
Exactly. And engaged employees are more productive, more innovative, and less likely to leave the company.
So a win for everyone involved. Now, even with the best quality system, problems are bound to pop up. How do we handle those inevitable bumps in the road?
That's where corrective action comes in.
Okay, tell me more about corrective action.
It's all about identifying and eliminating the root cause of a problem or nonconformance.
So not just slapping a bandage on the symptom, but getting to the heart of the issue.
Exactly. And this typically involves a few key steps.
Walk me through it. What's the first step?
First, you have to identify the problem. It could be a customer complaint, a defect found during inspection, anything that deviates from the expected standard.
Okay, you've got a problem. Now what?
Next, you investigate. You need to figure out the root cause. Why did this problem happen?
Sounds like detective work.
It is, and there are tools and techniques to help with this root cause analysis.
We'll dig into those later.
Right. Once you've identified the root cause, you develop a corrective action plan.
So a plan of attack to address the underlying issue.
Exactly. This plan outlines the specific steps to correct the problem and, importantly, prevent it from happening again.
So it's not a one-time fix, but a long-term solution.
Precisely. And finally, you monitor the plan's effectiveness. You want to make sure it's actually working as intended.
So it's an ongoing process of monitoring and adjustment.
Exactly. Now, what if we could prevent those problems from happening in the first place?
That would be ideal. Isn't that where preventive action comes in?
You got it. Preventive action is all about identifying potential problems and taking steps to mitigate those risks before they turn into actual problems.
So being proactive rather than reactive. How do you identify those potential problems?
There are various tools for risk assessment. A common one is the failure mode and effects analysis, or FMEA.
Okay, FMEA, remind me what that is again.
It's a systematic way to identify potential failure modes in a process, product, or service.
So essentially brainstorming all the ways things could go wrong.
Exactly. And then you assess the severity of those potential failures.
So you can prioritize your efforts and focus on preventing the most critical issues.
Precisely. So FMEA helps you identify those potential problems, and then you can develop preventative actions to minimize those risks.
It's all about being prepared. Now, we touched on root cause analysis earlier. Can we dive a bit deeper into that?
Of course. Remember, root cause analysis is about getting to the why behind a problem.
Going beyond the surface to understand the underlying causes so you can prevent recurrence. What are some common tools used in root cause analysis?
Two popular ones are the 5 whys and the fishbone diagram.
Ah, the fishbone diagram. We talked about that when we were discussing Koru Ishikawa.
Right. It's a visual tool that helps you brainstorm potential causes of a problem, categorizing them into different branches.
Like people, processes, equipment, materials, environment, all those factors that could contribute to the problem.
Exactly. And then there's the 5 whys, which is a more straightforward technique.
It's as simple as it sounds, right? You just keep asking why until you get to the root of the issue.
Exactly. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. Now, there are many other root cause analysis tools out there, but the key takeaway is that it's a crucial part of effective problem solving and continuous improvement.
It's not enough to fix the problem. You need to understand why it happened so you can prevent it from happening again. Now, another essential element of quality systems is documentation.
Ah, yes, documentation. Maybe not the most exciting topic, but incredibly important.
Definitely. Why is documentation so crucial for quality management?
Well, first and foremost, it helps to ensure consistency and standardization.
So everyone's on the same page, following the same procedures.
Exactly. This reduces errors and promotes a unified approach to quality. Documentation also provides evidence of compliance.
So you can demonstrate that you're meeting all the necessary requirements, which is especially important in regulated industries.
Absolutely. And it also facilitates continuous improvement.
Okay, how so?
When you document your processes, you create a baseline for measurement and improvement. You can track progress, identify areas for improvement, and make adjustments as needed.
So it's like a roadmap for continuous improvement. What types of documents are usually part of a quality system?
You'll typically find quality manuals, procedures, work instructions, forms, and records.
Okay, could you break those down for me?
Of course. The quality manual is like the big picture document. It outlines the organization's overall quality policy and objectives.
So it sets the stage for the entire quality system.
Right. Then you have procedures, which provide step-by-step instructions for specific tasks.
Like a detailed recipe for how to do something.
Exactly. Work instructions provide even more granular guidance, breaking down specific operations within a procedure.
Okay, and forms and records are used to collect data and document activities.
Precisely. They provide evidence that the processes are being followed and that the quality system is working as intended.
Now, with all these documents floating around, it's crucial to have a good system for managing and controlling them.
Absolutely. You don't want people using outdated or unauthorized documents. Document control is a crucial aspect of any quality system.
It ensures everyone is working with the most up-to-date information. Now, before we move on to specific quality tools and techniques, let's talk about variation.
Variation, the heart of quality control.
Okay, I'm all ears. What is variation and why is it so important in quality management?
Variation is simply the differences that exist in any process or product. No two things are ever exactly alike. There's always some degree of variability.
So we're acknowledging that perfect uniformity is practically impossible.
Exactly. Now, there are two types of variation: common cause variation and special cause variation.
Okay, what's the difference?
Common cause variation is inherent to the process itself. It's the natural variation that always exists. Think of it as the background noise.
Okay, got it. So what about special cause variation?
Special cause variation is due to factors that are not always present. It's a signal that something out of the ordinary is happening.
Like a change in the process, a broken piece of equipment, or an operator error.
Exactly. It's a red flag that needs to be investigated and addressed.
So common cause variation is normal. It's just part of the process, whereas special cause variation indicates a problem.
Precisely. Now, how do we distinguish between the two? That's where statistical process control, or SPC, comes in.
Ah, SBC. Using data to monitor and control processes.
Exactly. SPC is a powerful set of tools that helps us track variation, identify when special cause variation is present, and take action.
And one of the key tools in SBC is the control chart.
You got it. The control chart is a graph that plots data over time. It includes control limits, which are calculated boundaries that define the expected range of common cause variation.
So if a data point falls outside those control limits, it's a signal that something unusual is going on.
Exactly. It's an indication that we need to investigate and figure out what's causing that special cause variation. Now let's talk about process capability.
Process capability is about how well a process can consistently produce good output.
You got it. It's a measure of how well a process can meet the specified requirements.
So is it capable of meeting those customer expectations?
Precisely. We often use the Process Capability Index, or CPK, to quantify process capability.
Okay, CPK, refresh my memory on that one.
CPA is a statistical measure that compares the process spread to the specification limits. It tells us how much wiggle room we have.
So a higher CPK value means the process is more capable of consistently meeting those requirements. What's considered a good CPK?
A CPK of 2 is generally considered a good target. It indicates that the process is well controlled and capable of producing output that consistently meets the specifications.
Okay, so process capability is all about ensuring our processes can deliver the goods, so to speak. Another concept I wanted to explore is standardization.
Standardization, the foundation of consistency.
Right, it's all about establishing those clear procedures and making sure everyone follows them. Why is that so important for quality?
Standardization is crucial for several reasons. First, it promotes consistency and quality. When everyone follows the same procedures, you're more likely to get consistent results.
So it's like having a recipe that everyone follows to ensure the dish turns out right every time.
Exactly. It also improves efficiency.
How so?
When processes are standardized, you eliminate unnecessary variation and waste.
Streamlining those workflows.
Right. And this can lead to faster cycle times and lower costs.
So consistency, efficiency, and cost savings, all good things. What about the impact on employees?
Standardization makes it easier to train new employees. You simply point them to the standard procedures, and they know exactly what to do.
It makes training much more efficient. So how do you go about standardizing processes?
It typically involves a few steps. First, you identify the processes that need to be standardized, which ones are critical to quality.
Then you develop those standard procedures, outlining all the steps and key details.
Exactly. Once you have those procedures, you need to train employees on them.
So everyone's up to speed.
Right. And lastly, you have to monitor compliance.
Make sure everyone is actually following those standardized procedures.
Exactly. Standardization is an ongoing effort. It's about constantly evaluating and refining your processes to ensure optimal quality and efficiency.
It's a journey, not a destination. So we've covered a lot of ground in this section. Quality assurance, control, continuous improvement, organizational culture, employee involvement, corrective and preventive action, root cause analysis, documentation, variation, SBC, process capability, and standardization. It's starting to feel like all these pieces of the puzzle are fitting together.
They are. They're all interconnected and play a crucial role in achieving quality. Ready to delve into the wisdom of the quality gurus.
Bring on the gurus. I'm eager to learn from the best. All right, we've covered a ton of ground on the theories and systems of quality management.
We have. It's been quite the journey.
But I always find it helpful to see these concepts in action. To see how they played out in the real world.
Absolutely. There's nothing quite like a real-world success story to bring these ideas to life.
Exactly. So do you have any inspiring examples for us today? Any companies that have truly embraced quality and reaped the rewards?
Oh, I've got a few lined up. Companies that have truly become quality powerhouses.
Okay, I'm ready for some quality inspiration.
Well, let's start with a company that's practically synonymous with quality.
Toyota.
Toyota, the car company.
The one and only.
What makes them such a quality powerhouse?
Toyota is renowned for its Toyota Production System, or TPS.
I've heard of TPS, but I'm not really sure what it entails.
Well, TPS is a comprehensive approach to manufacturing. It emphasizes efficiency, quality, and of course, continuous improvement.
So it's not just about making cars, it's about making them better, faster, and more efficiently.
Precisely.
What are some of the key principles of TPS?
One of the core principles is just-in-time production.
Just-in-time production.
It means producing only what's needed, when it's needed, and in the quantity needed.
So no excess inventory or wasted resources.
That's-
That sounds incredibly efficient, but also challenging to pull off.
It is. It requires a high level of precision and coordination.
I can imagine. What other principles are central to TPS?
Another key principle is, you guessed it, continuous improvement, or, as they call it at Toyota, Kaizen. Right, that constant striving to make things better. And it seems like Toyota has really embedded that philosophy into their culture.
Absolutely. From the factory floor to the executive suite, everyone is encouraged to identify and suggest improvements.
And has that approach paid off? What kind of results have they seen?
Well, the results speak for themselves. Toyota consistently ranks among the most reliable and fuel-efficient car manufacturers in the world.
It's pretty impressive.
And they've achieved this through their unwavering dedication to quality and efficiency.
It's a great example of what a well-implemented quality system can achieve.
It is. Now, Toyota is a fantastic example from the manufacturing world, but let's move to a different industry.
Okay, where are we headed next?
How about Motorola?
Motorola. They're known for their phones, right?
Yes, but they're also a leader in electronics and communications technology more broadly.
Got it. So what's their quality claim to fame?
Motorola is widely credited with developing Six Sigma.
Ah, Six Sigma. We touched on that earlier. That data-driven approach to quality improvement that aims to eliminate defects.
Exactly. It's all about using data to make informed decisions and drive those improvements.
How does Six Sigma work in practice?
It involves a structured methodology called DMAIC.
DMAIC.
It stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control.
So it's a step-by-step roadmap for problem solving.
Precisely. You define the problem, measure the current performance, analyze the data, implement improvements, and then control the process to make sure those improvements stick.
And how has Motorola used this approach? Have they seen any notable successes?
Oh, absolutely. Motorola has used Six Sigma to dramatically reduce defects in its products.
Okay, that's a tangible result.
And this has led to a whole cascade of positive outcomes: increased customer satisfaction, lower costs, and improved overall efficiency.
So Six Sigma has really made a difference to their bottom line.
Absolutely. It's a powerful demonstration of how data-driven decision-making can drive quality improvements.
I'm convinced. Now, we've seen quality principles in action in manufacturing and technology. But what about the service industry?
Ah, a great point. Quality is just as important in service-based businesses.
For sure, I'm really curious to see how quality principles translate to a service context.
Well, for a shining example, look no further than the Ritz-Carlton.
Ritz-Carlton, the luxury hotel chain.
The one and only.
What makes them stand out when it comes to quality?
Ritz-Carlton is famous for its exceptional customer service.
I've definitely heard that. But what's the secret sauce? How do they consistently deliver that level of service?
Their commitment to quality management principles is unwavering. They might not be producing physical products, but they approach quality with the same rigor as any top-notch manufacturer.
Interesting. So how does that commitment manifest in their operations?
Well, they have a set of service standards called the Gold Standards.
Gold standards sounds fancy.
They are. These standards touch every aspect of the customer experience, guiding everything from the moment a guest arrives to the moment they depart.
So it's a holistic approach to ensuring a consistently high-quality experience.
Precisely. And these standards are more than just words. They're deeply embedded in the company's culture.
And I bet employees are empowered to uphold those standards.
Absolutely. They're trained and encouraged to go the extra mile to create a truly memorable and exceptional experience for every guest.
And it seems like that approach has been successful.
Oh, without a doubt. Ritz-Carlton consistently receives top marks for customer satisfaction and has won numerous awards for its quality management practices.
It's a great example of how quality isn't just a manufacturing concept, it's a universal principle applicable to any industry.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, these examples have been truly inspiring. It's amazing to see how companies have embraced quality and achieved such fantastic results.
It's a testament to the power of quality management.
I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for what quality truly means.
That's fantastic to hear.
We've come a long way in this deep dive, from the theoretical foundations to real-world applications.
We have. And it's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
Likewise, I'm excited to continue learning and exploring the fascinating world of quality.
As am I.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Agreed.
Thanks to everyone for joining us on this journey into the fundamentals of quality.
Until next time.
And remember, quality is more than a concept.